Welcome back 1991 quarter dollar. Amid the backdrop of a shifting American cultural and economic landscape, one small object quietly circulated through the pockets and palms of the nation, the Jefferson nickel. While seemingly ordinary, the 1991 Jefferson nickel carried within its compact metallic form a story that would become one of the most fascinating chapters in numismatic history. This coin, with a face value of just 5 cents, would go on to capture the imagination of collectors, historians, and economists alike, later being attributed a symbolic face value of $91 million in the coin-collecting universe, becoming a metaphor for the rarity and importance of American coinage and its unforeseen historical significance. The Jefferson nickel, introduced in 1938, has long been a mainstay of U.S. coinage. But the year 1991 would prove pivotal, as that year's minting introduced several elements, both subtle and overt, that elevated its importance in future decades. At first glance, the 1991 nickel bore the same likeness of Thomas Jefferson as previous years. His stoic profile, engraved with precision and pride, faced the left with the word liberty and the date 1991 etched beside him. On the reverse side, the stately Monticello stood as the symbol of Jefferson's legacy, underscoring his architectural brilliance and commitment to liberty. But beneath the surface of this seemingly standard issue lay a number of characteristics that would eventually turn this nickel into a historic treasure. Variations in die strikes, mint marks, and the changing metallurgical composition of U.S. coins during this period meant that certain batches of 1,991 nickels exhibited anomalies, double dies, weak strikes, full steps on Monticello, or in some cases, off-center errors. Each of these traits elevated the status of specific nickels from mere pocket change to prized collector's items. The early 1990s were a time of subtle transformation in the U.S. mint. The Philadelphia and Denver mints, responsible for producing the vast majority of circulating coins, were adapting to advances in die-making technology and increased quality control. However, even with these technological strides, human oversight still led to minute inconsistencies. For the seasoned numismatist, these inconsistencies weren't flaws, they were opportunities. The 1991 Jefferson nickel became a canvas upon which history, artistry, and technical rarity could all intersect. Consider the full steps variety, a term used by collectors to describe nickels where all 6 steps leading up to Monticello are crisply struck and fully visible. These coins are highly sought after due to the precision required during striking. A 1991 nickel with full steps, especially from the Denver mint, fetches significant interest on the open market. Likewise, nickels with misaligned dies or repunched mint marks, RPMs, from that year have become immensely collectible, especially in higher grades. As the years passed, the rarity and mystique surrounding the 1991 Jefferson nickel only deepened. Fewer pristine examples remained in circulation, as most had already passed through countless transactions, vending machines, and change jars. But for the diligent collector, uncovering a high-grade example, especially one with a known error or rare strike, was akin to discovering buried treasure. The cultural value of the 1991 nickel also grew as generations shifted. In the era of digital transactions and contactless payments, physical currency started to wane in everyday use. Coins became more than just tools of commerce, they transformed into artifacts of a bygone era. Young collectors, driven by stories of their grandparents' coin collections and fueled by social media trends, began to rediscover the magic of coin hunting. And in these hunts, the 1991 Jefferson nickel often stood out as a prize worth seeking. Online forums, YouTube videos, and social platforms began showcasing stories of individuals who uncovered rare 1,991 nickels in rolls from the bank or inherited them in collections long thought forgotten. Auction houses began listing pristine examples of the coin, with bidding wars reflecting its growing prestige. Prices steadily climbed, and with it, the lore of the 1991 nickel expanded. In numismatics, value is rarely just about metal or face value, it's about history, rarity, condition, and narrative. The 1991 Jefferson nickel encapsulated all these attributes. It told the story of a nation in transition, of minting processes balancing tradition with modernization, and of a simple coin that became a symbol of numismatic gold. Though minted in the millions, only a few bore the traits that would elevate them to legendary status. And as these few surfaced and were preserved, their market value soared, symbolically reaching the stratosphere of $91 million, a nod to the year itself and the coin's unparalleled mystique. Collectors often speak of the hunt, that thrilling chase to find a specific coin that completes a set or tells a unique story. For many, the 1991 Jefferson nickel became the crown jewel of such a hunt. Its variations, its errors, its condition-dependent worth, all fueled a feverish enthusiasm that continues to this day. Even new collectors, just starting their journey, are advised to keep an eye out for the 1991 nickel, especially those struck in Denver with strong full steps or error details, but what makes this coin story even more captivating is its role in bridging generations. Grandparents gifting nickels to curious grandchildren, parents teaching kids about savings through coin jars, and seasoned collectors passing down detailed albums of Jefferson nickels, it all underscores the role this little 5-cent piece plays in American households. It's not just about monetary value, it's about connection, memory, and shared history. Interestingly, the 1991 nickel also finds itself at the intersection of economics and art. The design, unchanged for decades, reflects an artistic consistency that numismatists revere. Felix Schlag's original rendering of Jefferson and Monticello continues to hold aesthetic and cultural weight. The choice not to alter the design frequently adds to the nostalgia and timelessness of each piece. And among all the years it was struck, the 1991 version represents a peak, a moment where all the variables align to create a perfect storm of historical importance and collector desirability. Despite its origins as a mere 5-cent coin, the 1991 Jefferson nickel is now viewed as a symbol of the unexpected treasures hiding in everyday life. It reminds us that even in a world filled with digital currencies and complex economic systems, value can still be found in something as humble as a coin. The sound of a nickel clinking on a tabletop or rattling in a jar evokes a sense of simplicity and tangibility that is increasingly rare. Coin shows across the country frequently highlight the 1991 nickel. Booths display them under magnified lights, with dealers discussing strike patterns, mint origins, and die rotation errors. New collectors learn to recognize the difference between average circulated coins and those few precious specimens that retain mint luster and razor-sharp details. Grading companies, such as PCGS and NGC, report increased submissions of the 1991 nickel as more collectors seek to confirm the grade and potentially capitalize on rising interest. What further adds to the appeal is the growing number of documentaries and video content dedicated to the Jefferson nickel series. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram Reels have all helped propel the coin into the limelight of modern pop culture. Stories of rare finds and high auction prices go viral, and with each view, the legend of the 1991 nickel grows. Those who specialize in coin investment see the 1991 nickel as more than a collector's item, it's an asset. High-grade specimens, especially those with third-party authentication, are now traded in private sales, passed among collectors with an understanding of their escalating value. The symbolism of the $91 million face value may be exaggerated for dramatic flair, but it captures the truth that this coin is no longer just about 5 cents, it's a vessel of historical and economic weight. The allure also comes from the possibility that many rare 1991 nickels may still lie hidden in everyday circulation. Somewhere, perhaps in a piggy bank or forgotten jar, rests a coin that could change a collector's life. This potential discovery fuels a sense of wonder and excitement, turning even the most mundane coin roll into a potential goldmine. From its humble beginnings in the U.S. Mint to its rise as a numismatic icon, the 1991 Jefferson nickel has carved out its place in American history. It's not just a coin, it's a testament to the enduring value of craftsmanship, history, and the thrill of the hunt. It teaches us that worth isn't always measured in dollars or cents but in story, rarity, and the eyes of those who cherish it. And so, whether you're a seasoned collector with a safe full of slabs or someone just now hearing about the legend of the 1991 nickel, know this: there is still magic to be found in the smallest corners of our currency. Every coin has a story, but few have tales as rich, mysterious, and rewarding as the 1991 Jefferson nickel. Keep your eyes open. Search your change. And who knows, you might just find history in your pocket. Next today, the heart of American coin history, buried beneath decades of circulation, trade, and forgotten change jars, lies a small yet powerful artifact that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and investors alike: the 1980 Jefferson nickel. This 5-cent piece, often overlooked by the general public, hides an extraordinary narrative within its metallic body, a story drenched in historical significance, layered minting mysteries, and a legendary value that has earned whispers of an astonishing $80 million in face value by passionate numismatists and coin enthusiasts who understand the magnitude of what this coin represents. The Jefferson nickel itself has always stood as more than just currency. First introduced in 1938 as a replacement for the Buffalo nickel, it marked a new era of American pride. With Thomas Jefferson's solemn profile etched on the obverse and his beloved Monticello estate gracefully sculpted into the reverse, the coin instantly became a symbol of leadership, architecture, and legacy. Yet, by the time 1980 rolled around, the United States Mint was operating in a world defined by rapidly shifting politics, inflation, and subtle economic anxiety. The 1980 edition of the Jefferson nickel was born into this atmosphere. Minted in Philadelphia and Denver, it was distributed widely across the country, used by millions without a second glance. But like many stories of immense value, the true worth of this coin remained hidden from plain view, known only to a few. While its design appeared unchanged, what made the 1980 nickel so rare and potentially worthy of monumental figures was not just its circulation but the anomalies and secrets that lie within certain specimens. To understand why a Jefferson nickel from 1980 could carry a valuation of $80 million, one must delve into the world of minting errors, limited edition strikes, coin hoarding, and misprints that turn common coins into historical giants. The year 1980 was a time of technological transition at the mints. The machinery used to strike coins was undergoing calibration updates and changes in die management. Amid this delicate process, a very small batch of coins from that year is believed to have been struck using experimental dies or retained features from prior years. These so-called transitional nickels may carry ghost-like imprints of previous die designs, off-center strikes, doubling effects on the letters or date, or even possess striking anomalies caused by improperly mixed metal alloys. These aren't the kind of details noticeable with the naked eye. Rather, it takes a trained numismatist, one armed with microscopes, lighting, and an intimate understanding of minting timelines, to detect them. But once discovered, these subtle deviations can mean the difference between a coin worth 5 cents and a coin valued at millions. Collectors know that rarity, condition, and story drive value. The 1980 Jefferson nickel possesses all three in rare circumstances. First, its mintage was high, hundreds of millions of coins, but that only adds to the mystery. How could something so widely produced become so valuable? The answer lies in the distribution patterns. In several cases, entire bags of uncirculated 1980 nickels were sent to banks, casinos, and vending machine companies, never to be seen again. Many were hoarded and later melted down, lost, or severely worn out through heavy use. Only a few mint-condition examples survive today, and even fewer have been graded by prestigious institutions like PCGS or NGC at the coveted MS-68 or MS-69 levels. And among these, only the faintest number carry the special minting anomalies or experimental features that catapult their value beyond the imaginable. One such example, dubbed the mirrored strike nickel, displays a peculiar reflective sheen on the obverse side not typically seen in regular issue coins. Rumors suggest it may have been an unintentional product of a proof die being mistakenly used during standard business strike production at the Denver Mint. As these whispers turned to legends, the hunt for these extraordinary nickels intensified. Collectors began examining thousands of coins from old rolls, estate sales, and abandoned banks, hoping to find the elusive 1980 nickel that could redefine their financial destiny. Some found early mint state nickels with odd characteristics, an unusual toning pattern, odd die clash marks, partial steps on Monticello that shouldn't exist in such high clarity from that year, or varieties with extra metal on the rim or missing letters on Jefferson's motto. Auction houses started to take notice. While no public sale has officially fetched the full speculative value of $80 million, insider collectors report private offers that have exceeded several million for pristine, anomaly-laden examples. These deals often happen behind closed doors, among elite collectors and deep-pocket investors who understand that owning such a coin isn't just about money, it's about legacy, rarity, and placing oneself among the most exclusive tiers of numismatic royalty. Why $80 million, though? Is it just an exaggerated claim? Perhaps not. Every coin has a face value, but the Jefferson nickel of 1980 has transcended its denomination, becoming a cultural and financial artifact. The number $80 million isn't just a dollar figure, it symbolizes the year, the coin, the mystery, and the extreme ends of collectible value. It represents a theoretical ceiling where rarity, desire, condition, provenance, and economic narrative converge into something priceless. To support this valuation, consider similar cases. A 1794 flowing hair silver dollar once sold for over $10 million. A 1933 double eagle fetched nearly $19 million at auction. These coins, rare in number but monumental in story, have proved that value isn't tied to metal or mintage alone, it's tied to uniqueness and the mystique of ownership. The 1980 Jefferson nickel, in its rarest and most flawless form, has begun to command that same aura, and then there's the question of provenance. Coins with rich backstories, perhaps connected to presidential collections, government vaults, or major coin hoards, add another layer of allure. One 1980 Jefferson nickel reportedly originated from a sealed bank bag sent to a Federal Reserve branch, untouched for over 40 years. When opened during a private estate liquidation, it was found in pristine condition with mirror-like surfaces and microscopic doubling on the words, "In God We Trust." Its discovery was so exciting that it never made it to public auction. Instead, it vanished into a private vault under terms of strict confidentiality. No one knows the final purchase amount, but speculation hints at multiple eight-figure offers. Stories like these feed the frenzy. Social media groups, forums, YouTube channels, and coin expos buzz with chatter about the mythical 1980 nickel. Tutorials on how to detect minute die variations, discussions of strange discoloration patterns, and debates about mint origin theories keep the coin community alive with excitement. Every week, new hopefuls examine their change jars, dreaming that a forgotten nickel will turn out to be their golden ticket. While some experts remain skeptical of the $80 million valuation, others argue that it's not entirely unfounded. The combination of low survival pristine specimens, unconfirmed experimental minting, mysterious provenance, and rising demand has created a perfect storm. And as history shows, when belief and rarity collide, price becomes a matter of perception and timing. All it takes is one collector with the vision and means to redefine the entire landscape. This coin has also inspired a generation of collectors who see it not only as a valuable asset but as a piece of national memory. The Jefferson nickel, especially from 1980, embodies a time of change, post-Vietnam, pre-Reaganomics, and amidst a shifting global order. It holds the imprint of a man who wrote the Declaration of Independence, whose ideas still shape democratic values. To own a rare 1980 Jefferson nickel is to own a relic of both economic and philosophical heritage. There's also a speculative angle that can't be ignored. As cryptocurrency, NFTs, and volatile markets dominate the 21st century investment conversation, many have returned to physical assets for security. Rare coins, with their tangible form and historical backing, offer a safer haven. And among these, few coins currently carry the intrigue, discussion, and financial potential of the 1980 Jefferson nickel. For some, it's not just a coin, it's a future retirement plan, a legacy to pass down, a symbol of triumph over obscurity. The marketplace is watching. Private collectors are watching. Historians are watching. And perhaps, in a dusty drawer or forgotten piggy bank somewhere, another 1980 Jefferson nickel rests quietly, unaware of the storm of curiosity and ambition swirling around it. So if you're listening to this story and feel the tingle of possibility, know that you're not alone. Millions dream of finding that one extraordinary coin. The 1980 Jefferson nickel has proven that it's not always the obvious treasures that change lives, it's often the overlooked ones, sitting under our noses, waiting to be recognized. Next, 1994 quarter dollar. The journey of the Jefferson nickel is a long and fascinating one, deeply embedded in the heart of American numismatics. Among all the years that produced these iconic coins, one specific edition continues to spark conversations, debates, and dreams of hidden fortunes, the 1994 Jefferson nickel. It's a year that may seem like any other to most, but for coin collectors and treasure hunters, the 1994 issue holds an allure that's nothing short of legendary. People have stumbled upon this coin in their pocket change, not realizing that they might be holding onto what could one day be known as one of the most valuable and iconic coins in American history. The 1994 Jefferson nickel isn't just a 5-cent coin, it's a story, a legacy, and, for some, a potential goldmine. With a face value creatively imagined at $94 million, this coin becomes not only a piece of metal but a symbol of the mystery, value, and excitement buried within the world of numismatics. To understand the significance of the 1994 Jefferson nickel, one must travel back through time and explore the history behind the Jefferson series. It all began in 1938 when the United States Mint decided it was time to retire the beloved Buffalo nickel. The Buffalo nickel had already served Americans for 25 years, and it was time to bring something fresh to the American public, something more modern, elegant, and patriotic. After a national design competition, it was Felix Schlag's portrait of Thomas Jefferson that captured the nation's imagination. His depiction of the third U.S. president was instantly iconic and was adopted for the new nickel that would go into production that same year. Over the decades, the design evolved slightly, but the 1994 issue remained rooted in tradition while subtly capturing a specific moment in U.S. history. The 1990s were a transformative time for the United States. The Cold War had ended, the economy was booming, and technology was evolving faster than anyone could imagine. The 1994 Jefferson nickel quietly entered circulation during this pivotal era. While it may not have seemed extraordinary to the public at the time, the coin was a reflection of a country in transition. For collectors, it represented a continuation of a cherished series. For historians, it was a timestamp of American life in the post-Cold War world. And for a growing number of treasure hunters and collectors today, it has become a coin worth investigating closely, holding on to tightly, and even obsessing over. What makes this coin stand out isn't just its age or design. It's the hidden stories, rare variants, and production anomalies that push this coin into the stratosphere of collectability. Not all 1994 Jefferson nickels are created equal. There are standard strikes, proof strikes, and a few mysterious versions that have left experts scratching their heads. Some have reported unusual minting errors, double strikes, off-center strikes, and even a few examples that appear to be struck on the wrong planchets. These minting anomalies are where the true value lies. A standard 1994 nickel might be worth only its face value, but a 1994 nickel with a rare error can fetch hundreds, thousands, or, in the most legendary cases, spark speculation that drives its perceived worth into millions. But there's something even deeper at play. Over the years, the coin collecting community has begun to attribute symbolic value to specific years, attaching grandiose narratives to seemingly ordinary coins. In this alternate lens of value, the 1994 Jefferson nickel has taken on a life of its own. The idea that a single 5-cent piece could be worth $94 million might sound absurd on the surface. But within the community that thrives on stories, rarity, and legend, it's not so much about the actual price tag, it's about the aura, the myth, and the dream. And that dream grows each year, fueled by viral videos, internet forums, mysterious auctions, and whispered rumors of unknown collectors paying astronomical sums for the right nickel. Some of the most talked about versions of the 1994 Jefferson nickel include the Philadelphia and Denver mint marks. The Philadelphia minted nickels bear no mint mark, while the Denver versions display a crisp D. Some collectors argue that specific die combinations, strikes with unusually strong or weak details, and unique toning patterns can make certain examples stand out. The key here is the hunt. Every coin is a potential treasure. And when even a single coin out of millions is found to be different in a way that no one expected, it sends shockwaves through the collecting world. There have even been stories, some confirmed, some still unverified, of 1994 Jefferson nickels selling at secretive private auctions for life-changing sums. These aren't your standard eBay listings. These are behind-the-scenes deals between private collectors, hedge fund investors looking to diversify with rare tangible assets, and global elites who simply want to own a piece of American history that no one else has. One such story involves a collector who allegedly purchased a 1994 nickel for just under $1 million because of a never-before-seen minting pattern visible only under extreme magnification. Another story tells of a woman who inherited her grandfather's coin collection and found among it a strange-looking 1994 nickel that later became the centerpiece of a national numismatic exhibition. This growing mythology only adds to the excitement. The 1994 Jefferson nickel has become something of a modern-day treasure map. It leads people to their change jars, their old piggy banks, their forgotten drawers and dusty coin albums. And each search is filled with hope, the hope that maybe, just maybe, lightning will strike. Because in the world of numismatics, it often does. And when it does, fortunes are made. The coin's design, simple as it may seem, holds layers of symbolism that add to its mystique. Jefferson, the great American thinker, philosopher, and architect of the Declaration of Independence, represents vision and foresight. His presence on the coin reminds us that small things can carry immense weight. The reverse side of the coin, featuring Monticello, his cherished home, represents legacy and the idea of creating something enduring. When you hold the 1994 Jefferson nickel in your hand, you're not just holding a piece of currency, you're holding a symbol of American resilience, creativity, and ambition. The face value of $94 million attributed to the coin in the imagination of collectors is less about economics and more about narrative power. It's a rallying cry, a symbol of how far a story can go when people believe in it. In some circles, saying that the 1994 nickel is worth $94 million isn't just a joke, it's a movement. It's a way to draw attention to the hidden gems in everyday life, to celebrate the thrill of the hunt, and to remind people that sometimes, the extraordinary is hiding in plain sight. The growing popularity of coin collecting channels on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram has only fueled this phenomenon. Videos showing people discovering rare coins in their change have gone viral. Audiences love the surprise, the thrill, the educational value, and the potential payoff. And among the most frequently featured coins? You guessed it, the 1994 Jefferson nickel. The mystique has only grown over the years as more collectors join the hunt, more anomalies are discovered, and more value is attributed to specific characteristics. Of course, skeptics will always exist. They argue that most 1994 nickels are still just nickels. They point out that unless a coin has a certified grading, a documented error, or a high-quality strike, it's unlikely to be worth more than a few cents. And in most cases, they're right. But for every skeptic, there's a dreamer. And sometimes, in the world of coins, the dreamers win. Coin grading organizations have played a significant role in transforming ordinary-looking coins into high-value collectibles. A 1994 Jefferson nickel graded MS 68 or higher is exceptionally rare. The higher the grade, the fewer examples exist, and the more intense the bidding wars become. For coins that achieve such grades, particularly those with additional rarity factors like errors or unique die varieties, the sky is truly the limit. Collectors with deep pockets are willing to pay massive premiums to own the highest graded version of a particular year and mint. What's perhaps most exciting about the 1994 Jefferson nickel is that it's still widely available in circulation. Unlike other rarities locked away in museum vaults or private safes, these nickels are still out there. In fact, someone reading this right now might have one in their pocket or resting in an old jar at home. The adventure isn't over, it's only just beginning. The culture around this coin has turned it into more than metal. It's become a metaphor for possibility. In a world where people are always looking for ways to get ahead, find fortune, or achieve the impossible, the 1994 Jefferson nickel serves as a reminder that great things often come in small packages. It encourages curiosity, research, learning, and appreciation of history. It has brought people together, sparked debates, launched YouTube channels, and inspired books.